This right here is the price of gold, and it shot down today with GDP numbers coming out less than expected, which is very confusing at first, and I'm going to break down what's going on with gold both fundamentally and from a price action standpoint. I'll talk about trade setups that I'm looking at as well as my trades. Let's jump into today's video. So today we had advanced GDP numbers come out, and they came out at 1.1%, which was less, of course, than the expected 2% that we were sort of forecasting for. Well, my thought on this was that this would cause gold to potentially shoot up, right? Slowing economies could cause fear, could cause the Federal Reserve to potentially slow its rate hikes. All of these things could stoke a strong push to the upside. So why on earth is gold coming down? Well, here's why. One big name is that we have, of course, the First Republic Bank situation. And if you guys are not familiar with this, we had in the United States, we had several, notable banks sort of collapse on liquidity issues. Well, those fears caused actually gold to spike up. Part of these big run-ups recently have been off of those ideas that, hey, if banks are starting to collapse, the Federal Reserve is likely going to need to halt rate hikes at a rapid pace. And of course, slows in rate hikes could cause gold to actually rally to new highs, because again, that would cause the dollar to weaken, so on and so forth. So from a technical perspective, where are we at with gold? Well, gold here had an impressive sell-off as we got into today's price action. Again, my thoughts, and I have been calling for an idea long on gold. I don't have any trades open myself, but I continue to look for opportunities on the long side. Still, Nick, why are you trying to long this thing when it's going down? Well, I'm not at these levels. What I'm looking for is, if this range persists, I'm notably looking for a breakout to the high side. So if we actually break higher, then I'll be interested in looking for pullbacks. So not really an urgent trade setup here today for the video, but I wanted to explain a little bit of what's going on for those of you who do watch gold on a regular basis. This is a powerful move to the downside off of basically what happened following was there is sort of those fears about bank collapses are being squashed, and now it's sort of returning to, well, the Federal Reserve still looks somewhat hawkish. There's potential for further rate hikes, so on and so forth. Despite that, we see the dollar shooting to the upside. And from a technical perspective, looking at the dollar, it seems like it's found a pretty strong 101.3 support zone. My opinion here for the dollar is it is also still range bound. When we look at the dollar and we look at gold, it's probably a good point to make that with next week's May 3rd Fed meeting, the market is sort of waiting for direction from that. Where are we going from here? We're expecting a 25 basis point rate hike, but from there, are we going to see more rate hikes? More rate hikes, guys, would be probably a catalyst to get a breakout long on the dollar going forward. But is that what I expect? No. I personally am more in the camp of, I think the Federal Reserve is going to rate hike one more time, 25 basis points, and then going to pause and see what happens. And in that case, I think the dollar has more room to the downside, which is why, if you've been watching the videos recently, I am long biased two notable things. I'm long the S&P 500, and I guess also the NASDAQ and Dow, but I trade mostly SPY. I like to trade the S&P. And then also gold, right? Both of these things, I am looking for a relief if this dollar cracks. So what I'm looking for, guys, here on the dollar specifically would in fact be breakouts of this consolidation to the downside. So again, not looking too promising here as we go into the day, but if we do start to see this dollar up move crack, if we start to break to the downside, I'm very interested in looking for, at that same time, gold longs and S&P longs, both of those on my watch list. But really what I'm most interested in is that gold long if we get it. So Nick, what's the bull case for the gold market? Clearly it's down today off of this volatility. So why in the world are you looking to be long biased on gold? Well, here's why. I'll give you guys my bull case on gold. And again, it's not right now. I'm looking for price action to agree with what I'm thinking. But from a fundamental perspective, First thing I want to note is that gold has a big, heavy, long preference from institutional traders. What we do with the EdgeFinder, which is our market scanning software, I run a company where we build tools for traders, and one of our prominent tools is our COT data visualization tool. It's a hard word to say. And we've been watching the gold long ratio. What we've seen is that institutional money is still very notably long gold overall. So big money is long gold, but on top of that, retail traders, this is what's kind of keeping me out. If we take a look at retail traders though, and feel free, by the way, to pause the video if you want to look at other assets, if you trade oil, dollar, whatever, those are options as well to pause the video and take a look at. Retail here is still very short as well, which gives me some confidence here. In fact, let me make sure this is the right data. I need to refresh this and just make sure we have the latest. We're going to refresh. Okay, yeah. So 58% of retail traders are on the short side of this gold move. So as this gold move continues lower, I don't have a lot of confidence in the expansion of a further down move. Again, retail traders are betting this thing goes lower. And what do we know about retail traders? They tend to be on the wrong side of great moves very often. Not always, and it is possible that we do see further decline in gold. In my opinion, if we break this level, there's a good solid chance from a price action standpoint, day traders could get a hold of it and we could trade back down to like 1950. But where I'm most interested is on the long side, because again, retail is piled into a short trade, big money is interested on the long side, and also we could take a look at some other factors. I mentioned in terms of Fed interest rate hikes, this is sort of our Fed tracker page where we can see in terms of forecasts, inflation is expected to continue to decline, but it's still in a range that's very, very high for the gold market. So when we go look at specifically XAU USD, if we go look at gold, these are the bullish factors that I have on my watch list. If we take a look at inflation right now, inflation is at 5%. From what that tells us, during periods of higher inflation, we tend to see gold thrive. We've seen that in this recent run up in gold. We saw, several times price make its way above 2000. And in this environment, I'm pretty much going to be looking with some level of confidence on the bullish side until inflation gets to be more under control. Inflation, again, they print more money. Gold should do well in that environment. It's not a foolproof plan, but it's one extra confirmation tool that I use within the EdgeFinder. We also have, again, institutional money, very long, retail, short. And then, of course, GDP growth today coming down adds to my bullish thesis because, again, when the economy is shrinking, it adds to a bullish case for gold, right? Remember, people buy gold when they're fearful. If we take a look at seasonal trends, we have expected rise in April, which is ending, and a slight up move in May. In terms of, let's see what else we've got. In terms of trend reading, we're still in a slight loose uptrend off the daily chart. Inflation, like I said, gets us that +2 as we are in a period of very high inflation, which has some contributing factors to gold. So that's kind of my bullish case on gold. But what I need to see from a price action standpoint is, of course, a breakout of that 2010 mark. Or I could perhaps get a little bit more aggressive. I really do like the long side, maybe around that 2000 mark. If we break back above 2000, I may be willing to try. Let's talk about a trade that I'm personally in myself. I'm currently long S&P 500, still holding on to this move. It has not made too much of a move here either direction. We're still just about break even, up $50 here on the trade. I entered back here. It went against us a little bit, almost hit my stop, come back to break even. Still waiting on this one to make any sort of substantial move. Here's your 4-hour view. I bought it off of a retest of support. Earnings have been really strong in the United States, so I'm sort of trading this as an earning play. We had, for example, some stocks that I own had really good performance. We had Meta. I've held on to this one for a while. It's been a good runner for me. Microsoft as well had great earnings, right? So these things showcasing that there is some potential strength in the stock market in terms of earnings being resilient despite economic slowdown. I'm still in the bull camp for a possibility of a softer than expected landing. We'll see if it happens. Again, that's where I'm at. I have a trade open on the S&P long, which was shared inside of the group recently. By the way, guys, if you do want access, this is our last week of our major sale. We're doing a huge 40% off sale on the EdgeFinder. If you've been a fan of the channel and you have not grabbed access to the EdgeFinder, now is the absolute last chance and the best price you're going to get all year long on our software. If you're an aspiring trader, if you're learning, if you like the tools, if you like the data that we're using, if I go on vacation for 3 weeks and you don't have access to the tools because you haven't been watching the videos, you might seriously miss out on some excellent ideas and things that you could be looking at. So if you don't have the tool, grab it for yourself while it's on massive super sale. And again, all you have to do to get access to that sale, click this link. It's in the description right down below. It'll open up a chat. It's the first link in the description. Click this. It's gonna bring up a chat box and click tell me about your discounts. If you ask us about this, you're going to unlock that 40% off discount while sale ends, before the sale ends here and while it lasts. Again, it is ending very, very soon. Do not miss access. If you've been wanting to get the tool, get access to all the things that I use. This is, again, I run a software company where we build these tools for traders. We've got an office of people here working really hard to make this tool available to traders around the world. So again, don't miss out on the sale while it lasts. It's our 1-year celebration of building this tool as a software company new to the space. So there you go. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in today's video. We'll see you next time. In this video, I know I went through a lot of fundamental analysis based concepts, so I put together a video just for you to help you out with this concept if you struggle with your fundamental analysis. Click here and check it out for yourself.